one boss. And had I been on set, I would have caught it. I was like, oh, fuck, I got the fucking genius little girl fucking trope happening in here. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't on set that day. And, another scene where I was there, where Robin is talking to her mother, and in that scene she says, she's talking about, these men that, I go, the sheriff, our main bad guy's a woman. What do you mean these men? No, adjust that. You feel what I'm saying? So you have these little things, and you have these, Sarah Connor was never a know-it-all perfect fucking woman, right? Right. Ripley was just a fucking responsible officer, first mate on a spaceship, right? And then, again, now, Aliens, if we did Aliens, people would roll their eyes at the incompetent officer who she takes over from. But these are just things that happen in movies and storytelling, right? But she was never some perfect chick. And I think what we find in a lot of this stuff now is that people want to make a point. It's not the Illuminati telling them to do it, but I've seen those Star Trek shorts where they've completely changed what Star Trek is, right? That one where she's like, oh no, you're just an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? Like some officer, there's a woman officer and there's another guy.
I don't know the exact scene, but I know how the trajectory Star Trek is on currently.
Yeah, like this stuff where they talk normal, like all this stuff has come in. And again, they're not fucking nerds. And we're not talking about, I kind of like Star Trek. Yeah, but Star Trek used to have fans. There's a bunch of writers that are in the game because they wrote fan scripts, sent them to TNG. Someone went through and said, this is a good one. Let me call this kid. And they got in, right? Part of why those original Star Trek, TNG is the best example of it. Why we all loved it, because it was written by, made by real fans who love this shit, understand this shit. What happens a lot with nerd culture is shit gets popping, and then in advertising they call it plussing up. You're a creative, you're a copywriter and you're art director, you went and make some great commercial. Word gets around the building. Wyatt's made a great commercial. Suddenly the door opens and they edit, and in walks some fucking creative director who has been uninvolved. Yeah. He has come to da-da-da. And next thing you know, he's run off with your fucking project and trying to take the credit for it. Right? And I think this is happening in our shit. Marvel makes $1 gazillion, and then suddenly these fucking non-nerds come in, and they're going to say, well, if you thought this was good before, wait till I get involved. And then they fucking tear our shit apart, and they don't understand why it's going down. I went through this. I was at a company. Look, I come out of music video, I come out of advertising, and this guy buys a company. He comes out of corporate, real normal corporate shit. And he walks into the building like, well, I know you advertising people have been doing well, but I come from corporate world. Yeah. Watch and he ran the company into the ground. You know what I'm saying? These people, they don't respect us. They don't respect what we're doing. They think it's lesser and that they somehow are smarter than us. So they come in with arrogance and then start tearing this shit apart. And now look, I've never watched an episode of Discovery. I mean, I'd still direct an episode. I won't lie to you. Yeah. But when I saw that spaceship, I was out. I couldn't. That ship design and they don't understand that's what it's like for us nerds. I don't know how y'all felt about it. I was out from the spaceship.
As a director, do you have final say?
No. You have.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so you have, here's your balance. A showrunner, so what's different about Robin Hood is that I'm the co-showrunner, okay? So there's a balance between everything. You have executives and producers and your other showrunner, and you're all trying to find a place where we all agree. But if I really went hard on something, for the most part, I think it would go my way, right? But you run the show. If you are a work-for-hire director, right? So let's say I get a phone call on Star Trek Discovery. No one wants to hear my opinion about the design of the spaceship. My opinion is strictly within the realm of my episode, right? And even within that, I can't start like, hey, I got a note on this climax of the series. Fuck off, right? But I can push things forward within the story. So I could say, hey, you've set up this, you're talking about this thing. Proper narrative structure means you need to pay this off. Here's an opportunity to pay it off. What do you think? You're more of a suggesting person, but you can't push it. And depending on who you're dealing with, some people are like open to it. Like I just did a episode of a TV show, amazing set of people, and they listened, and we pushed. I was able to push. They listened, and we made something really great. It's a really exciting episode. That all varies, but as far as like a work for hire director, even on a studio picture, like you come in and you're doing Saw 67. There's only so much they're going to let you do. There's only so much you can push things around. You know what I'm saying?
Right, it's like directors for Marvel now are kind of just hired, and there's a track they have to follow.
Exactly. They'll tell you, even when it's like, well, I was making Superfly, Joel kept on saying, like, this is your movie. I'm like,
yeah.
Kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, the studios and all this stuff, they can get them. It all varies, right?
So in the situation with Robin Hood, you were saying that you had the idea where it was Vet coming back and it was more male focused at first, and then through the process, casting changed.
Well, no. So, like I was saying, to be clear, it became a girl long before it got to the network. Did not say make it a girl. We brought in as you're building your team, the producers. So I had two production companies. Luti Media is a good friend of mine. We made music videos and commercials. Maybe 2 decades now. So I said to him, let's make modern day Robin Hood. He says, I like the idea. He brings in another company called 11th Hour Films. They come in. 11th Hour Films brings in a writer who pitches the idea. What if it's a girl? What if they made music? So I said, yeah, let's do it. So then we started shaping it around that idea. That is the idea we sold to the production company. That's the idea we sold to the broadcaster. You know what I'm saying? But I made that decision. That was not the corporate evil boogeyman coming in and saying to me, make this change. That was me saying, I like that idea. Let's evolve it into that. You know what I'm saying? And
who made her bisexual?
What's that?
Who made her bisexual?
That came about. So you got to understand, again, in this realm of nerd culture, like there's a show called Lost Girl that did 6 seasons. Canadian show, Lost Girl. She's bisexual. What's that other show? Orphan Black. I didn't watch Orphan Black, but I don't know if she's bisexual but someone's bisexual. You know what I'm saying? So a bisexual character in this like lightly nerd television world is not uncommon. So it was actually our showrunner, my co-showrunner, who said, hey, so at the beginning, Robin's a girl, so what if we did this love triangle? What if it was between Little John and Marion? And Marion is enough of a name that maybe it could be a guy, right? So we had gender swapped Marion. But then Chris said, what if we gender swapped the gender swap? And what if she became a girl? And we, that's kind of cool. That's fun. But it wasn't, again, it's only now that a bisexual character is somehow controversial. This was very normal stuff. But in this backlash to woke culture, I think we're regressing in the culture, to be quite honest. Like, again, people would roll their eyes at aliens when Ripley takes over for the incompetent. You could see it happening. Oh, of course he's incompetent. Of course she takes over. Blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in our pushback, we're going backwards.
I think that's a fair argument. I have wondered. I've been wanting to go back and watch some of these movies and try to watch it with the same mindsets we have now and be like, were they actually good then, or am I jaded? So I personally am one of the few YouTubers who will admit that I want to test basically what you're saying. I've been wanting to go back and watch all of the MCU and see how I feel about it now as compared to when it came out and everything. But
it's still the same for me.
Can I say this? If they want to say, I would like them to turn Miss Marvel back to the original Miss Marvel. Who grew up on Black Miss Marvel? Did any of you grow up on Black Miss Marvel?
Yeah, she was Marvel. Yeah, she was Marvel's sidekick back in like '87.
Monica Rambeau is actually Miss Marvel. When I grew up, Miss Marvel, she wore like this disco outfit. So she had the wings, the wing thing, and she like had a little afro and a mask. She was Miss Marvel. My Miss Marvel is a black woman. That's the Miss Marvel I grew up on. Yeah.
I mean, okay. You're right.
Do you think they could do that because she was effectively a sidekick? And do you think that there'd be an agenda about having a female be the sidekick as opposed to the main hero? Because she was more or less the sidekick to Marvel. Now, I agree with you. I think that would be better.
She was an Avenger. Miss Marvel, when I grew up, she had like a disco outfit. It was white, and she had like these wings with an afro. And she was an Avenger. She was in all the comics. She wasn't lesser. She was one of the Avengers. And then this weird thing happened, and they made Miss Marvel like it's pretty fucked actually taking the black woman name and giving it to this blonde white chick. But that's my Miss Marvel is actually Miss Rambo. Google that shit. You'll see.
Well, then I have to ask, why is it fucked up to do it in that direction and not fucked up to do it as Robin Hood going to a black female?
Like I said, Robin Hood is this 1,000-year-old legend. So I felt like I was just doing a take on Shakespeare. Right? Like, all right, again, was anyone mad about West Side Story? No one was mad about the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. None of them. Okay, that's cool.
I personally thought that movie was shit when I saw it.
You thought Leo the what? What?
I couldn't do it. I was like, this is so dumb. Are you talking about the...
How old are you? You two, see, you were there when it happened. You look young. No, that was a moment.
He wasn't born at that time.
That was a moment.
The Best Lerman, right.
No, because I fucking hated the modern one.
But again, but you see what I'm saying? Like, but this is still my point of view on this. 10 years ago, no one would have given a shit. Now we're looking for reasons to be mad.
No, I would have given a shit, to be honest, because every time somebody twists mythology, I go mad. Every time somebody twists something that is iconic, old, and rooted in our subconscious, and you talked about this on your TED Talks and your documentary, you alluded to this many times, because you are a smart, very intelligent, and very knowledgeable person, and you know exactly that we have a collective subconscious where memory is stored through emotions. And that emotion is anchored through knowledge. And that knowledge is passed on orally or scripture-wise. And Robin Hood is one of those beautiful examples. We can go also to Switzerland, where we have Wilhelm Tell, who is the Swiss Robin Hood. We can go to many different countries, also in Africa, where we have similar tales. And if you twist those tales to an extent where it's not recognizable anymore, you lose the emotional anchor. And you lose the guidance for the spirituality, and you lose the guidance for your subconscious. Because the hood, when you say hood back then, you always meant the morning sun. The hood stands for the morning sun in mythology. Because Robin is the morning sun. He's the rebel that goes out to search for his father. Richard, that comes back, is the evening sun. Richard is Osiris, and Robin Locksley is the morning sun. It's Horus. The Horus is the sun that steps up on the horizon. And the maiden Mary is, of course, Isis or Diana or however you want to call her, Astartes, Aphrodite, Venus, right? These are primordial principles of our subconscious, of our collective memory that we have of a past that we've long forgotten. And if we, nowadays, instead of kind of turning these stories into something contemporary, we twist them to a point where we don't recognize the primordial characters anymore, the substructure, we lose our culture. And guess what happens? We disconnect with reality, we disconnect with our environment, we don't have a connection to our parents anymore, we get confused. So one way would be meditation, like you were suggesting, but the other way would also be bringing back mythology into school, bringing back mythology into culture, and teaching people the importance of the myth. Wherever you go, whether it's Trinidad, Antigua, Switzerland, Africa, Sicily, myth is part of the oral structure of any community. If you twist that, you lose the community. So how can you say on one hand, yeah, I want to, kind of empower the community and do the very thing that takes away the root from the community, and then call us racist if we point this out? You know what I mean? I mean, you offended me before we ever met. And this is the problem, not with you, but with so many directors nowadays that royal you. This is the problem nowadays with a lot of these productions that come in, the networks, and say, let's do this, let's do that. Nobody fights for this anymore. And let me tell you, I was on set fighting for certain decisions. They threatened me to kick me out if I wouldn't say the things exactly like in the script, and said, yeah, kick me out because I don't believe this. I'm not going to do this. And you have to sometimes stand for something. I'm not preaching here because everybody has his reason. Everybody has his obligations. Everybody has to pay his rent, make ends meet. So it's not about judging, you didn't fight for your mythology, but then make it from the beginning in a way that the collective conscience can still nourish even from a contemporary story. This is all I'm asking. And I would have asked this 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 days ago. It doesn't change. And that's because now I don't even have a TV set where I can watch the news. I don't care. I have books. This is my TV set. This is my news anchor. Books, old stuff, research, and connecting to my students, to my friends, to my roundtables, where we share this common thread. Again, it's not about color. It's about what connects us really. These primordial stories.
Look, I understand. I understand what you're saying, but again, in my view, this is open for interpretation. The way these things are, I wouldn't have.
It's not open. Little John is Jupiter, and Will Scarlet is Mercury. Robin Hood is the morning sun. Richard is Osiris. It's the evening sun.
That's the first I've ever heard. That's the first I've ever heard this interpretation.
Research, dude. This is what we're like. This is what we're living.
I've never heard that. So
Will Scarlet is the planet Mercury. You can look this up. There are many universities kind of talking about. If you look to the city of Loxley in Alabama, look at the logo. It's the morning sun rising up. Obama, his logo is the morning sun rising up. They're all connected to these mythological stories. Pretty much every logo that we use nowadays, more corporate America, is all mythology, it's all old story. Fashion that we wear, the crocodile, Mesa, that's the old god. Or the axe, all this stuff is mythology.
I get what you're saying. That's a lot, but that's not how we walked into this show. What we were doing was we did respect the original mythology. Right, not symbolically, right, but we dug in. Look, Gilbert Redcap is the deputy that the first deputy you see. Gilbert Redcap in the original legend is the archer that competes against Robin in the archery competition.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So whenever we dug in, even Lionheart Hall, at the back of, you see Lionheart Hall. Behind that is like Henry Patagolas, That's the name of Prince John father in real life. Like, so we always dug into the history. We're always nodding to the original history. We're here part of the fun of doing something like this is digging into the original legend and digging into the history and pulling that up. That's why Mercia is the big city that in the distance, because Mercia is the name of that kingdom. So we're doing these things. Like look, Chris Roberts, my co-showrunner, is a nerd. Like, he went out one time and someone showed him a picture from Star Trek. Said, "What's this?" Goes, "Oh, that's from the episode when when they get the Borg, they find the Borg, and that's the Q episode with the Borg. That's the thing that was on the screen." He's that level nerd, like, you know what I'm saying? And when I went to the office after Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan show, I go, "Yo, they had Obi-Wan get into a fight with Darth Vader. His face dropped. How dare they? How dare they?" When I came and said, Strange New Worlds gave the Romulan episode to them, face dropped. He knows. I don't have to explain it. He knows exactly what the fuck I'm saying to him, of what this means to the way they're manipulating culture. This is crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Obi-Wan, there is no excuse for having fucking Obi-Wan and Darth Vader meet. None.
I agree with you there.
None. It crosses the line. You know what I'm saying? But this, again, they're not real nerds and they're in our shit. I get what you're saying about the symbolism and all this stuff, but to the average person, right, even for me, who's a nerd, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing this ancient legend that could be reinterpreted. I wouldn't have made Robin Hood a black woman in the, 13th century. You feel me? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm doing that. The whole fun of this is they live at the short corner of Sherwood and Forest. Oh, I get it. You know what I'm saying? We're having a little fun with the legend.
It's just my turn to talk, because I'm not trying to cut off Director X here. I'm trying to cut off Coach, honestly, 5 minutes ago. Not that I don't appreciate it, but I'm glad the conversation did take this turn, though, because I do have to, unfortunately, call out a little bit of your research here, Director X. Hypnotic, if you could please pull up the link that I sent you before. We're all going to see it. It's not going to be any sneaky shit. But
where did you send it?
It's on the Twitter. I can send it in a private chat too. But
I see it.
Okay. So hold on. It starts off with your interview you did with Mr. H, where he talked about that Robin Hood was about taking taxes from the rich. and you were saying that you hadn't heard that, you weren't aware of that. I found other footage of you that said otherwise, and I just want to present it.
Play it?
Yeah.
And then for the normie, they don't really see Robin Hood. And this is beyond, really the first time I had anyone said, oh, they're the taxes from I don't remember any of that from my knowledge. Robin Hood is older than Robin the rich and give to the poor. But that's as a norm, you know what I mean? That's when you say Robin Hood, rob from the rich and give to the poor. That's how we, you know what I'm saying? That's how we think of that legend. Like if we can start digging in and talk about this, because there's so many different versions of it, right? Like
the version is taxes. That's the thing. And British people would, right? So they would see that as a certain element of disrespect. They would also look at that and go, right, well, just on face value, they would say, well, why didn't you do your research? The person that came up with it, they would say, why didn't you do your due diligence and actually look at it? The core concept of it.
Yeah,
there's many things which could come back to you on that level.
I get you, but again, we did look things up. That's another reason why Robin isn't from nobility in this version. Because when we went digging in, the original Robin Hood was just a yeoman. He was just a regular guy. And down the line, as the legend grew and started changing, that's when it became, oh, he's really rich and he's just hanging out with these poor people. You know what I'm saying? So things have changed over time. So that was really the thought process there. And I don't know if I fully would agree with, like, if we were in a writer's room together and you said, let's do taxes. I don't know if I'd really, there's enough back and forth about the Robin Hood legend, right? Like, I don't believe Disney Robin Hood was stealing taxes. You know what I'm saying? But
so this is from your first video where you mentioned
has a bunch of friends known for making music. So again, do you not know?
I have to go back a little bit more. You want to highlight the part from the Disney one? Where? Go backward. What are you doing? Oh, wait, no, it's not. I'm totally off. Never mind. My bad. Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
Because I'm suspecting that you are unfamiliar with the legend. Like, where could I ever have gotten the idea that Robin Hood has a bunch of friends known for making music?
Still from the rich and give to the needy. For the sheriff he dined with Robin Hood, and when he had paid the score, we're men in tights. The maiden turned her head away and answered ill at ease. This part. Just trying to get by, the taxman comes
You can read the lyrics on the screen.
What you said?
You can read the lyrics on the screen.
Oh, so am I pausing there?
Yes, if the taxman comes and he bleeds us dry. That's why we fight for Robin Hood.
He bleeds you dry. That's why we fight for Robin Hood. We'll sing and we'll dance and live.
So, when you're claiming that you didn't know that it was about taxes, and then in your own video, when you first addressed the controversy, you specifically highlight the part where they sing about taxes.
Yeah,
so some people would bring that up as
well, and then the first video was when they actually talk about what the average person thinks of Robin Hood, right? Take from the rich and give to the needy. And the rich and give to the needy, right? There's the average concept of Robin Hood. You go ask the average person what they think of Robin Hood. They think rob from the rich, give to the poor. Kevin Costner wasn't stealing taxes. He was robbing from the rich. This is how people thought of it and how I think of it, right? So, yeah, we can talk about which ones we did it and which ones didn't, but I'm dealing
It's not about which ones you did it, which ones did. It's that you said that you never heard that it was about taxes. And then in your own video, I'm guessing you posted that and took that clip yourself and put it there, unless someone else posted it for you. So how did you miss that part in the song where you can read the lyrics and it says...
quite honestly, it's part of the same thing. I never, till now, saying, they say the taxes. All right. But, again, this is not the average person when they think of Robin Hood. That they think about the slogan, rob from the rich, give to the poor. That is how people think of Robin Hood. That is by far the average person's concept of this legend.
Sure, but also you did do the research on naming the street after them, naming the characters accurately.
Well,
so why did that?
The research on naming it Sherwood and Forest is not quite research. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty easy.
You're saying that you did some research.
Of course we did, and then when we needed character names, we always dug into the original legend and tried to make this thing. Again, bro, this is normie shit. This is network television. This is not here to. And how would I ever interpret the stealing of taxes into a modern? We can writer's room it right now, but
I would be down. Honestly, I think that could be pretty cool.
I don't know how. But again, it's not like the whole world thinks of Robin Hood as getting the taxes back. Sure, some of these legends do it. Clearly, that song references it is the prince and the sheriff. It's the state against the people. But by far, the average person thinks of Robin Hood as rob from the rich, give to the poor. I'm not completely off base here.
I would actually agree. The majority of people do think that that's just now that's a modern thing, modern in the last 50 to 100 years when this story was about thousands of years. But a very modern interpretation is just changing the word taxes to rich in general. Now, I think that's a very dumb change that's been made in the modern day, but it is one that has happened. You gotta give credit where it's due. That's a poorly translated version that a lot of people do associate nowadays. Yes.
I mean, look,
Robin Hood syndrome. Rob from the rich, give to the poor, then the poor become rich, and then you rob from the rich and give to the poor. It's like a vicious cycle that keeps repeating throughout history.
That would be an interesting finale if Robin came.
With hoods a lot, ain't you, Ryan?
There's a sketch where someone's like Robin Hood. Robin Hood comes and gives people money, and the people are like, we're rich, and then Robin Hood's like, we're rich now, we're rich. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
why, you good or you got more? I wanted to ask, you said that you subscribed to some of the channels that you were complaining about originally. Are there specific ones, or do you just know about them?
Oh, no. I mean, like, the algorithm feeds me. I look to see if I really am a subscriber to Heels versus Babyface. I'm not, but Heels versus Babyface is sure as fuck in my suggestions every fucking day.
Oh, I know what you mean. There's plenty of people that subscribe to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they give you a flow. Yeah, like...
YouTube's kind of vicious.
Yeah, it's like, you go watch this channel.
And they don't give you anything else. It's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, and then weirdly, they just stop. I don't know, like, the weirdness, drift a little bit, but, like, the Young Turks has not shown up in my suggestions in years. Like, at least 2 to 3 years. I was kind of like, I ain't fucking with him, and it's like my YouTube knew it and has not suggested their shit in forever. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, all this fucking suggestion shit gets a little creepy. We know this. You think about, you think about fucking Nike sneakers, and suddenly there's a Nike sneaker in your timeline. You know what I'm saying?
But you did say you were subscribed to Az, though. Yeah, no, not even Az. Like, were you subscribed to Critical Drinker or like Nerd Rock?
Yeah, I think probably Critical Drinker. Like, the guys who would normally come up in my timeline, I get Critical Drinker, I get Heels versus Babyface, Mr. H would pop up. Ryan pops up occasionally. The Quartering pops up. Geeks and Gamers will pop up. Robot Head pops up. A lot.
Yeah, we got the same YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get a lot of those things. Midnight's Edge occasionally will pop up. Yellow Flash pops up occasionally. Like, so, but it's a community here, right? Like, they know if you watch this person, you'll probably like that person, that kind of thing. You know?
So, were you familiar with their videos before? Like how they approach, the woke culture agenda, the message?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I actually came in making Robin Hood, like saying this girl can't be beating up fucking police officers. And, all this kind of stuff. I didn't catch the super genius moment with much in the garage. But,
what about the moment with Robin throwing a trash bag at a fully suited police officer and knocking him down as if that trash bag weighed like 200 pounds?
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe there was some fucking heavy trash in there.
There's no way that shit weighed more than like 5 pounds.
It's related to Abby
throwing like a basketball, like for a 3-point shot.
Welcome to television, kids. Welcome to
What about
television.
the part where Munch was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna do a 360 fucking jujitsu move and throw this cop into a pool"?
Well, no, but that's legitimate. If you know, look, I tell you all, look, this is connected. See this? You ever see when a security guard is escorting someone out of a place while they grab this part of the arm?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's a body. That's a momentum body weight throw. So that's on purpose.
But what about the 90-pound cop kicking the dude over with her bare foot?
That's yeah.
What, a sidekick, a proper sidekick, and she's not 90
That would
pounds.
not have knocked her up.
Yeah, like,
Not that dude.
yeah, no, bro. There's no, like, again, you guys in the reaching of like, oh no, like that's a proper fucking piece of judo right there, throwing the guy into the trash. That's body momentum or whatever. And a proper sidekick, if you got proper form, yeah, you can kick this person. Now here's the thing, how am I supposed? Drunk 3PO, what's up?
They got his shout out.
Yo, drunk. Are we gonna have our talk, Drunk 3PO? Fuck, Drunk 3PO is a great fucking name though. I think this
He is.
the tequila's are beginning to kick
And
in.
he's a fantastic person.
Trips up.
Calm
people,
down,
though.
calm down.
He does trip up people. Well, that brings up a point, though.
Something like that.
He assassinated Winnie the Pooh on.
Yeah, a great person. I don't know. You can't do that to Winnie the Pooh. That's almost as bad as that damn Blood and Honey movie.
He's the first slayer.
Was that whack? Was that movie whack?
Low budget, high profit.
With Blood and Honey? Was that Winnie the Pooh horror movie bad?
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
It made a lot of money, though, and
money.
that's all that matters.
But it's not hard to make money when your budget's $30,000.
Did the YouTube community attack them the way they've attacked me and my shit?
Oh yeah.
Oh, word?
I remember specifically Miss Strange making videos on it, but
Yeah, but people maybe attack that in an it's so bad, it's good, it's funny sort of way. Like they would attack an 80s B movie. People were not as harsh on Blood and Honey as they were Robin Hood.
Also, keep in mind too, Blood and Honey is a movie. It's a one-time shot. You make fun of it, you move on. You know, Robin Hood's episodic, so every episode's going to get reviewed. So it's going to be a lot more videos naturally.
All right, so let me ask you guys a question. What do you think? I mean, we're all speculating here, but what if the director of Blood and Honey came into the YouTube community? Would that have been a good thing or a bad thing for him?
Well, it's about
It's about
what
on the intention.
Yeah, and the intention.
Yeah.
Do you is it corporate damage control?
Speak over coach.
Go.
It's difficult.
I guess what they said, it depends on their end, but for me, it would have never been, because one thing I don't mind a bad movie. I like some bad movies. I think we all got bad entertainment I don't like movies that waste my time. I don't. And quite frankly, I felt like that movie, especially where there was like the trailers made it look like something interesting. And I felt like it was disrespectfully bad. And so for me, if he would have came into the space, if I feel like I'm going to disrespect somebody, or if I've been disrespectful, I'm not going to interview him, because the only thing I can do is kind of keep the same energy. And it just...
Well, that's what I was mentioning earlier. You know what I mean? You can't say YouTubers have to calm down when it's literally 10 articles a day about how they're all racist and every other fucking word you can think of. So yeah, it's hard to play that game. Why
it's an overreaction.
You got any more? Because I know Ryan's got a few.
I do have more.
Yeah. Go ahead, rock your shit.
Main question I wanted to really get to is, so the claims of review bombing. I wanted to ask, in your opinion, what would be the difference between a 1-star review that's a review bomb and a 1-star review that's genuine, that's how that person felt?
Well, like I said, bro, it's literally the definition of review bombing. My friend was a lawyer, and he watched my Mr. H interview. And he sent me it's literally the definition. You're making a political point. We have 4,000 plus votes. We have 3,900. When I last saw, it was like 4,000 votes. 3,900 plus of them are 1 star. An honest review, you would have some 3s, you have some 4s, you have some 5s, it's all that. And then you have a couple 110s, which are a reaction to when I said this show's been review bombed, right? So people said, all right, well, then I'm going to give it a 10. So I'm not now saying, oh, all these hundreds of 10s are actually, they all love the show. No, it's a reaction to the ones. But to look at that, it's some normie shit. And then when people refuse to accept it, I mean, that's cool, but you're not accepting it because you like the narrative. You like what that says.
Well, my question more specifically is, let's say there's two reviews next to each other. They both say 1 star, but one is actually how they felt. One is not. Is it like something it would say that would make you go, "This is just
the numbers, bro"? Again, bro. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna get a little real with this shit. I'm outside for real. There's some shit it is what it is. I don't care how you paint it. That's what it is. No. But that's what it is. When you have over 3,900 1 stars, that's a review bomb. So what if it was? No, but that's what it is, bro. Let me say, my same friend. We all know Ray Epps. I say Ray Epps. We all understand who this is. Mm-hmm. Okay. This same lawyer. I go. Something's funny about that event that happened. Something's funny. Look at this guy. My friend is not even lefty, but clearly not over there. Oh, that's some crazy guy. That's not a crazy guy. That's clearly, Ray Epps is not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Do you ever see the one where he points at a guy and goes, "Leave that here, you don't want to get shot"? Mm-hmm. Like, we're past not crazy into this guy's a fucking killer and fucking, that's a serious fucking dude. And if you don't understand that, maybe you've not been outside or you don't understand reality, but I do. So you can play a game like, well, what happened? I don't care, bro. That's clearly a review bomb. That's clearly what it is.
No, that's not my question. Okay, let's say that, take the 1 stars. Let's say for sure somehow we confirm that 90% of them are review bombs. But let's say there are 10% that are actually how people felt. How would you differentiate between that?
I can't. I have no real rating of how people like the show.
But people write their full descriptions of how they feel about the show.
Yeah, like I said, dog, I'm really outside it. So people trying to nice up their fucking talk with a fucking excuse, I see through the excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really outside. I really see fucking real shit go down, eh? So I'm unconcerned with people. I'm unconcerned with people's lies of how they're trying to cover up what's clearly happening in my face. Like, that's just what it is.
It's clearly happening if you haven't read the details of it.
Bro, I see what
You're reading the cover without reading the information.
No.
I gotta agree with Director X on this one. Respectfully, because like you can say the difference between one review bomb. I mean, one that's a review bomb and one that's not. You can say one person put out a bunch of stuff, but does that person, like, just because you wrote a bunch of stuff and critiqued it, does that mean you really feel like it's a 1?
No, but that's what I'm asking. Because let me give you an example. And in the interest of fairness, I'm giving you a little bit of points here. Because I went on, earlier at least, I went on the IMDb. I looked at the 1-star reviews specifically, recent ones. I don't know how many of it shows on one page, if it shows like 10 or however many when you first pull it up. But I did see 2 1-star reviews that I could tell were review bombs. I could tell that they were written by ChatGPT. But all of the other ones that I read, at least on that page, were explanations of things that happened in the show, things like they didn't like about it or that were done well. So that's what I'm saying, is that I'm not saying there is zero review bombing whatsoever, because there definitely will be a little bit of it.
I got you, but how bad does a show have to be a 1-star? See, that's my thing. 10 stars and 1 star would be extremely rare. So when you just release a show, respectfully, I don't know. I'm not saying whether it's review, but I disagree with it being review bomb for racism. But if you just release a show and then off rip 3,900, you ain't had enough time to review it enough to say it's a 1-star, in my personal opinion. Now, if you saying it's a 3-star, okay, cool. Because I look at a lot of stuff. It's very rare. You have to be like ghetto, super clown stabbing people to be a 1-star, bro. Like, the old ghetto movies used to watch.
It's clear what it is.
Bad.
It's clear what it is.
Audio got to be bad. Audio, the camera quality got to be. The actors was clearly like, to be a 1-star.
To argue against you, Atreus, that's what a lot of those comments say. A lot of comments have commented on the acting, on the dialogue, on the storytelling, on the presentation.
That's fine.
Honestly, I didn't watch the show, so I'm not going to say either way.
But be 1.0 again. They're all 1-stars. There's nothing in between. It's all 1s and then a couple 10s. So there's a little battle going on. Again, bro, I'm not going to play a game with y'all like I don't understand how reality works. I'm outside for real. You understand?
Nobody's claiming
I'm,
that.
no,
You
but
don't understand reality.
that's what I'm trying to show y'all. Like, I really understand how the world works. So to say, oh well, no, I'm not doing all that with y'all. I'm not doing that with y'all.
To be fair, I don't think
this
anyone's
is my
saying
time
it
to
was
talk.
a review bomb.
This is my time to talk.
One at a time.
No one was challenging your sense of reality or anything. I was specifically asking what does something have to say? Because to me, my example would be if I made your show or whatever, if I read a 1-star review that said, LOL black women, I would consider that a review bomb. But if I read a 1-star that said this story didn't make sense, this person, the acting was terrible or whatever like that, it can be more constructive criticism. It can be something.
But a 1-star, they're there to hate it. They're there to hate it. You know what I'm saying? That you can't deny. They came here to hate it. This show they're out to get it from the moment we announced production. Then when we said, okay, we're releasing it. Then when there's surprise, we hate it when we heard about it. We hate it when we heard about it again. Now we hate it when we saw it. They're there to hate it. I mean, look, like we're going to pretend, oh, well, maybe they have something constructive to say. Bro, then you go hear that constructive talk. Again, I'm not here for that, eh?
I do. Dude, all of us get not thousands, but all of us get plenty of shit comments all the time from people. I get constant comments saying I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. But then I do also get comments saying like, hey, your audio wasn't good here, or this editing is fucking with me, or whatever. And that's something that you don't have to always address it and take it 100%. But if you completely write off all criticism whatsoever, just throw all of it as just.
I wish I could if I was getting on it. Like you got all these 1-stars again, 4,000 votes, 3,900 plus are 1-star. There's nothing in between. They came to hate it. And then trying to hide it behind, honestly, what I think was the problem. Bro, again, you're not talking to some boy, eh? You're not talking to some little boy. You're talking to a real fucking man, eh? I understand when people are dealing with fuckery. So hold on. I'm not going to play a game where I have to listen to your fuckery because you think you've hit it properly. I'm not doing that. Again, go play that with children. You're not dealing with a boy. I'm a big fucking man, eh?
This is my time to talk. Excuse me. I'm getting personally insulted here. Why are you getting so personally offended at this? I'm literally asking, okay, let's say I make a show. It's complete. Let's say I make White Panther. I recast T'Challa with Ryan Gosling. And I get reviews that say, like, one is 1-star, that's shit. One's 1-star that actually has comments to it. I'm not going to take that as 100% that y'all came here to just shit on it, like, no matter what. And sometimes even ones that do, they still might have a point here and there, because I've been through plenty of acting classes and filmmaking classes, and you had to take real fucking criticism to the face. I did plenty of times where I thought, like, I knew this fucking scene, I knew this performance, I knew inside out I was going to kill it. For the coach just to look, like, disappointed and ask, like, well, you didn't do this, you didn't focus on that. And I could have taken that as, okay, he came here to fucking hate on me, or I could take it as maybe there's things I need to look on. I'm not saying you need to completely take in every single, like, shit thing people say. Of course not, because we have to wade through that shit all the time. But you do need to be able to tell the difference in constructive criticism.
Like I said, how we had a normal review. Hey, we got the 5s and some 4s. We got people from around the world showing up to comment on a low-budget Canadian young adult show. All with their 1-stars. Again, bro, you can couch this however you want to.
I'm not couching anything.
No, well, that's fine. I see what it is. I call it 4 a.m. downtown.
No, you have a vision. You have a narrative, and you're reading it like that, and that's why everyone.
No, it's not a narrative. I see what it is, bro. I see reality.
Multiple times. I think we both answered the question multiple times. I hate to do that, but it's like you see the reviews.
I do see the reviews, and I see the reviews of people commenting with descriptions of what happened in the show and why they didn't like it.
Well, because again, bro, what you think I can't see through a little bit of a song and dance? Well, you know what I didn't like when the part, bro.
Why is that a song and dance?
Because it's a 1-star, dog. When you have 3,900 1-stars out of 4,000.
So if it was a 2-star review, it said the exact same thing.
Again, bro, if you enjoy your narrative, that's cool. You're trying to convince me that I don't see reality. You're trying to convince me that I don't see what it is. Dog, stop this.
We're not saying that at all.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can I ask a question, then Ryan take over? Yeah, sure.
So the reviews, even if you take out the 1-star reviews, right? Even if you want to take out the 10-star reviews, right? Take out the 2-star reviews. Maybe that's too insulting. How many reviews are left? 81. So 81 reviews for a show of this nature, is that normal?
No, actually. These shows don't get a lot of reviews.
The same reviews? So my question is, if the mid-level reviews are like, if a show gets regular reviews, and what's considered regular is, you got a little bit of everything, right? You're not so much all 1 out of 10. You're definitely not all 10 out of 10. So you're kind of like in the middle, right? This show has 81 reviews in the middle, and the rest is stagnated between 10s and mostly 1s, right? So if that's to be the believed, and you take away those extreme factors on each side, you mean to tell me this show only got 81 reviews?
Bro, I don't understand. The show's been...
My thing is, if people were not legitimately actually criticizing the show for 1s out of 10s, and we're delegitimizing every single one of them, then you mean to tell me it only got 81 reviews for a show of this nature?
I have no idea, dog. The point is, I don't have a proper barometer of what the fuck happened with how people really... If you actually had actual people watching the show, how they feel. Because from the beginning, again... You're telling me that this show, from the moment it was announced that production started, the hate came in. The people, YouTubers, big YouTubers are making videos to say this show's going to suck. Then we say the show's coming out in a month. More now. Everybody, tons of videos, the show's going to suck. Then the show comes out, surprise, the show sucks. Every single piece of my social media, my Twitter, which I barely use, my Instagram, and then I started TikTok, filled with people saying your show sucks, your show sucks, your show sucks, your show sucks, your show sucks. IMDb has somehow come some sacred ground where these people would never, ever disrespect the IMDb. So every social media is filled with people saying your show shit, but IMDb, I must now say, because it serves your narrative. Because you want to believe, you all want to say, aha, it's a flop. Look at the IMDb. You want to play this game. This is the narrative you enjoy. Just like my friend wants to believe that Ray Epps is crazy when he's clearly fucking not. You all want to play this narrative, so you're defending the narrative because you want that 1.0 to be a real thing, and it's not. I don't care the games you want to play with me right now. It's not.
Well, no,
period.
It's not a game,
period.
If that was the case, then how come when House of the Dragon was being announced and people were saying it's going to suck, it's woke, it's this, because they race swapped an entire family heritage in that show, and then the show comes out and it's a fucking smash hit. It went completely the other way.
Good shows.
Those same people on YouTube that were calling out your show for it's gonna suck, it's woke, it's this, it's that. They did the same exact thing for House of the Dragon when that happened.
I'm sorry. Is my show based on a fucking hit book series?
No,
Hold on. Is my show based on a hit book series that finally followed the source material in one? It's not confusing.
Well,
how we all understand how you win in the fantasy.
They followed the source material and you didn't. The point is that they had a reaction from the same people that you are claiming is review bombing your show. It's the same exact people. They said the show was going to suck. It's woke. They race swapped the entire fucking family. Look at this, black guy, this, that, whatever. It's the same narrative, right? It's the same fucking story. And yet when the show came out, House of the Dragon just completely took off. People admitted they were wrong. Hold on, time out. They admitted they were wrong. And they didn't go to IMDb to review bomb the show, as you say. They didn't go there to go leave 1-star reviews. They just admitted they were wrong. Even in the reviews that they were doing for the TV show, each episode, they were breaking it down, had their issues, but still say, you know what, shit, I was actually fucking wrong. You know, so why didn't that happen here?
Because they race.
It's absolutely the same argument. It's the same group of people. Time out. It's the same group of people that he's having a problem with that is attacking these shows.
Remember the first question you asked was, so two things can be true. The show can be absolute garbage, which, whatever. But remember the question you asked was if we took away the 10s and took away the 1s and took them away, only 81 reviews. Absolutely, because the show's directed at black people, and respectfully, I don't see a lot of black people watching this shit. So if the show only got its clout from people on YouTube reacting to it, it's not unfeasible to think that the people review bombing it are everyone that came from our side of the... I'm not saying that it is review bomb. I'm just saying I think this question of review bomb is ridiculous because we know it happens on both sides. And the thing is, hearing both y'all's arguments, I've heard both sides acknowledge that there's review bombing on both ends. So I think me personally, I think it's a dumb question to be asking about, is it review bombing or is it not? I can clearly see it. The show wouldn't be that popular if we wouldn't have reacted to it in the first place.
And let's point this out. For House of the Dragon, they race swapped a family. One family. They didn't touch anything else as far as the source material. And that race swap, and everyone said, why is this black guy there? And then that race swap actually makes sense for why these kids don't look like they're the father they're supposed to have. There should be a little color in them kids' skin. Can I point this out just on another note? Remember when the brother came in to argue for his place, his family, the little brother, he got his head cut off. Remember this? Remember the guy we're talking about? Or he got his tongue cut out and he had no black family. I don't know if you all remember this. It was like him and a bunch of white people. I'm like, you ain't got no like black friends. It's just you're the only black guy in this scenario. That was a little touch for me. Bugger than that. In this scenario, they didn't touch the source material. They switched out one character that actually fed to the actual thing. Again, you're saying that all these people showed up to hate the show. They're at every bit of my social media hating the show. But for some reason in IMDb, they're being truly genuine. Stop, bro. Again, y'all, I don't know who y'all think you're talking to, but I ain't no fucking, I don't know who y'all think you're like, stop this shit,
dude.
bro.
I said the show is like a 3-star. So if you say y'all, that immediately includes individuals like me who were fair. So stop generalizing. I don't want to generalize to you. So I said, as it stands, the show's a 3, which still isn't good. But to be fair, that's not all of us, because I'm more or less taking your side on a few of these. Like give some credit where it's due.
Yeah, that's fine. Individually, yeah, not ever. Look, like I said, I feel that the larger story, that this is a reaction to woke culture, the wokeness of the world, and a pushback to it. So I'm not taking that all, but to say to me, 4,000 votes, 3,900 of them are 1 star. Please, y'all, stop.
So
Let's not come on now.
The woke culture, really quick, and then I'll pass it off to Ryan. I know you got a lot of questions, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
Do you feel as if people's reaction is probably due to the fact that they have been insulted over and over again to kind of, how do I want to put it? Basically, you're pissing on me, you're telling me it's raining, kind of a thing. Do you feel that your show as a whole represents that, right? And the thing is, I can't fully believe that the network is the majority problem. Like they kind of selected certain things. And here's the reason why. So you start hitting certain points, right? And of course, a black character is not inherently woke, obviously, right? A fucking bisexual character is not inherently woke, obviously, right? When you start doing all these things, though, and it's the media spin on it, and sometimes not even the media spin on it, sometimes it's actually the studio spin on it. You'll have people that are being interviewed coming out talking a certain way. So yes, the reaction is strong because after a while, you can't tell me and convince me that, oh shit, okay, we're going with a modern reimagining of Robin Hood. Cool. All right, no problem. We're going to have mostly black main cast. All good. Oh shit, but all the cops that are bad are white. All right, that's fine. That's not a big deal. Oh wait, but Robin is bisexual. Okay, I guess whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, you just start hitting all these notes. And people start to wonder, is it really accidental? Like, is it really coincidental? Or after a while, are you really trying to convince me that it's fucking raining when you're literally pissing on my head? This is the problem that's going on with not just your show, not just your network, not just your studio. It's a lot of shit going on. They'll consistently tell you that this is the best person for the role. But the best person for the role for the last 5 years has seemingly been black most of the time. After a while, it starts to make you wonder, right? And even if you want to ignore that, you have other shit that pops up too, right? And then you start realizing, oh no, these people actually, they do, they call it checkbox hiring, right? On YouTube, I'm sure you've heard that many times. That checkbox hiring thing it seems like that's a real thing because again, this is perception's reality, right? So after a while, what you seem to make as like Robin Hood, you can call this show contemporary, modern, whatever. You can call this a modern reimagining. The only problem is the last 5-10 years, fucking hundreds of people have done it before. And they've done it probably, honestly, more insultingly, but they've done it before so that when you get to the plate, now they're like, yeah, I don't want to give a fuck about this. Like, this is just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's clear. And you know what? The other problem, just again, I'm not white. I'm going to make that very fucking clear. I am not white. Obviously, I can't prove it. I can't prove it. Half the fucking YouTube community thinks I'm black. I still have the clip of the fucking article.
No, dude,
I remember when you were on camera. Damn it!
I have the fucking what is it called? The Bounding into Comics article. They were like, because I think they were were they talking about Director X? I don't remember.
Yeah. I'm talking about Director X.
They were talking about Director X, and they're like, oh, Hypnotic, who is also a black male. I was like, oh shit, what?
Was your fake Afro personality Hypnotic? Is that what happened?
That's what it was, and I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, thanks, Bounding into Comics. I didn't know I had the end pass. Now I'm gonna fucking utilize that shit. But no, it's funny how, again, perception is reality. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, we get constantly told that this is just best person for the role, best this, best that, best whatever. But the media spin and the studio spin is what pisses people off. It's not about the fact that you hired a black female for Robin Hood. It's not about that. The problem is everybody's trying to pretend as if this is some stunning and brave fucking thing, and we need to kind of bend the knee to everybody simply because there's a black female lead in Robin Hood. Nobody cares, bro. If people came out and spoke more about the show, if you kind of gave more about what the show is about versus doing interviews or articles or whatever. And again, it's not just you. I want to make that so fucking clear. It's not just you. It's just what you represent. And that's what I'm trying to tell you from the beginning. When you took it personally, I'm like, it's not personal, bro. It's what you represent. Unfortunately, there's been so many people before you that have completely shit at the plate. And now you're here trying to deliver something that you consider to be a true, whatever, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. You consider it to be that. But unfortunately, it's just not. It's not that.
I just want to back up Hypno a little bit to give. Remember the Honey remake? I don't know if you've seen the Honey remake, but what he's talking about.
That shit was trash.
Very trash. But that's
the Winnie the Pooh joint.
No. The Honey. Remember the Honey movie? Honey starring who was it?
Remember they had Jessica Alba. Now
Oh, and then they traded the character out for a new person.
It was Tayana Taylor, if I'm not mistaken.
It was
very evident. This was the first time I became aware of any sort of agenda, but it was very clear to me as a black person who was very much. I was never BLM, but I was very aware of. I want to see black people do better. I want to see. I'm black. I watched Honey, and I noticed, all the people with nefarious intentions in this show are white.
Yeah,
that's nothing. The main character, the lead show, is a black woman. Cool, they all dancing. She's in a relationship with a white guy, but she has this thing with a black dude on the side, right? Oh. And towards the end of the movie, I noticed the white guy does nothing wrong, right? Mm-hmm. But she leaves the white guy for the black dude who's an obvious fucker. And then I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see how this pans out. But then she rides off in the sunset with the black dude, and we get no closure as to why she not only cheated on the white guy, and we get no reason for why the white people just. It's just like it's like we dance, white people steal our dances. Fuck them.
Can I say the last movie I thought we'd be discussing on this was this one took a turn I was not expecting. But yes.
The point, you've been building up for so long, so take away Hypno.
The point, I'm trying to finish this because I want Ryan to get up. The point is that you have. It's a major problem. My thing, as someone who's not white, my thing is that whenever I see, you want to call it minority characters, underrepresented, whatever, my biggest fucking problem is that the studios, the press, all inclusive, they use us as shields. That's what they use us. I feel as shields against criticism. Right? So that's why I was asking you about the review bombing, because I look at the reviews and I try to see if there's genuine fucking criticism there or if it's bullshit. And we can have differentiating, we could disagree on that, that's fine. But my point is that they use us as shields, right? They know, I'll tell you how predictable this is, okay? If you look into my channel, like when Robin Hood was first announced, way back when, I literally said, and I shit you not, I said that, I guarantee you all the white people are going to be bad, okay? I guarantee you Robin's going to fucking chick, most likely, right? Gonna have some sort of thing with a girl, okay? Guarantee you that's going to happen. And I'm fucking right. And I don't want to be right. But
not all the. But hold on. But not all the villains are white. We have.
But most of them are.
I mean, we have the two main villains
And
that are
the
white.
primary ones are.
Red Cap is
white
mixed
guy
race.
and some,
Guy Gisborne is Latino. Are we suddenly? So that doesn't matter now. When they're.
It does,
but they're minor
it
villains.
does, but
Guy Gisborne ain't no minor villain.
No, he's not a minor villain. The Spanish guy's not a minor villain. That I know. I saw the show. But the thing is, majority speaking, like again, not just your show. Majority speaking, that is what happens. Most of the time.
I'll be fair. I'm gonna be fair. Taking that in, looking at the reaction, looking back to say, all right, we cast we looked at every race to be the sheriff. John Prince, we wanted to make a statement about because he's based on a prince. We wanted him to be old money. Like, he's always been rich. His family's always been rich. And the reality of North America is that's got to be a white person. That's just how this works. Okay. So he was the only villain who said we want a white man. Give me some points that it would have been an easy thing to make him Donald Trump. We go, oh, he's a Donald Trump guy. We didn't do that. We made him Richard Branson because I have my own feels about it. So,
Damn.
Do you remember? Side note. Do you remember Venezuela was like, hey, we're running, these sanctions are really hurting us, and Richard Branson showed up like, I have some trucks from Colombia. Just let them in. And Venezuela's like, those trucks are all filled with guns. Fuck off. And it was maybe say, why is Richard Branson getting involved in Venezuelan politics? Richard Branson is. You know what I'm saying? It made me question some things. So, I mean, I'm joking. I love Richard Branson. Everything's fine. I love Richard Branson. But now, so we did this version of making him a billionaire, but he's a cool, hip billionaire. That's what he's the only villain we said he has to be white. The sheriff, we auditioned every race, and Kira won that role, and she's terrific. Even what fucking the reviews I've seen from from Az. We all like our villains. They're great villains. So now, in that discussion, you got these great actors who really carry it. How do we balance this out? And then I love Nadeem, who played Red Cap. He fucking kills the role. He's great. I said we can't hire a white deputy. We need someone of color. But in this discussion now, people are feeling like he's light enough that we get into this like, fuck it, he's white too. Is how people are treating it. Should we have said we need a black man, we need a dark-skinned black man to play this role to even out, to say that our villains are as multicultural? That's a real discussion to have. That's a real thing to step back from and say, how does this all look in the bigger picture, right? Because if you fuck off half your audience, because it's as much as people want to say, forget those guys. They're just racist conservatives, whatever. Well, I'm not saying you're all conservative, but you understand the narrative that exists.
Right.
Yeah, but that's half the country.
Right. Well,
so you're just going to fuck up.
You admit that. Almost nobody will admit that. So I'm going to appreciate you for saying it. As the most liberal person on this panel, I'm pretty sure. I appreciate
nigga.
Leon is essentially trans, just so you know. He's so far gone.
I'm the Ian Crossland of this show. Most people won't say that, and I appreciate that you do, because that is half the fucking audience is your middle American conservatives who just want to, and middle American conservatives don't want to see positive Trump positive 2A shit in their show. They want to see, for the most part, nothing political in their show, because that's their escapism, because the political shit is their everyday real life, so they don't want that in their shows.
There's a difference between a show that has a political message and is ideologically based versus a show that's actually based in politics. There's a difference, and people always bring that up. They say, well, XYZ show is political. Why did you have a problem with that? That's because the show is based in politics. Like it is literally a political show versus something that is completely not, like a fantasy show or whatever, and you're trying to sell a political message. You know what I mean? And again, most of that messaging is not so much in the show itself, even though it is. Some of them go really hard with it. They'll tell you about the patriarchy within 5 minutes of the show coming on. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time it happens outside of the show, and that's why the media spin happens.
Well, and as well, remember, we're nerds, right? We come from Star Trek, the original series, and TNG, that if you took on an issue, you represented the whole issue, right? This wasn't something where you had a point, like, what would a free speech discussion look like on a current day Star Trek show? Would they literally say with Captain of the whatever version of Starship we're on, say, yeah, some people shouldn't be allowed to talk? Because Captain Kirk would never say that. Jean-Luc Picard would never say that. But now we live in this age where the accepted narrative is that some people should have to shut the fuck up. Right? So none of this shit, we're in this upside down world where this is not how this shit is supposed to be. Right? At the point of this nerd shit is that we're taking a balanced look at the world around us and saying, this is this and this is that, and what's our middle ground? And we've lost that now. And again, this is part of the reaction to Robin Hood. Right? We have this new Star Trek shit. We've lost. The nerd shit is not doing what the nerd shit is supposed to do, and people are angry about it, which is fine, right? It's frustrating for me too.
Yeah, they're also angry over the fact that it is a lot of seemingly, I would say, notoriously white characters that are constantly being the subject of said modern changes, and that's what a lot of people have issues with too. And that's why when people watch my channel, they think honestly, people think I'm all racist, but the people who think I'm white, they think that because I also defend that shit too. I'm like, why is it you would have a problem if a black character got race swapped to white? You would have a problem. I guarantee, maybe not you personally, but there would be a lot of people that would have a problem if that happened. But for some reason, everybody just ignores the fact that all these white characters are being changed. With that being said, I don't want to take up the fucking time because again, Ryan, we're at 2:23. Ryan, I know you got a couple questions. Yeah. I'm sorry, X. You wanted to respond?
No. Ryan, jump in here. Come on.
All right. Just so you know, Ryan's very racist. All right, then.
Clearly.
They call me the Klansman because I tease Atreus a lot. That is all.
You don't just tease me, nigga.
I'm very nice to Casey.
I'm on stream and threatens Atreus. That's the level. Come on, Atreus, you missed it a little bit.
Very nice to Casey. Very nice to Brian.
The cat's going crazy. They already know. Here we go. Okay.
General Vague. What a great name. I love that name.
For all of you fine folks in the chat, if you want to speak your mind, then you should become creators like us. Because without you great guys and gals, this channel and us fellow creators wouldn't be where we are today. I'm not a prominent creator, Director X. I take suggestions from viewers and showcase fellow creators as rising stars. My niche is not in films or television or pop culture. It's in studying the origins and happenings of fellow creators. But there is one question I wanted to ask you. Is Robin Hood getting a season 2?
We don't know. We do not know. We will have to find out. So when I hit up the network, hey, what's our numbers at? Mm-hmm. They're like, well, it takes some time now to gather these because now you have broadcast numbers, you have PVR numbers, you have streaming numbers. All these things have to come together. Global television, their average viewership, let's just say, is not that young. You know what I'm saying? That's a hell.
They called that your Steven Seagal.
These are my twin towers, ladies and gentlemen, and Steven Seagal is at the top of those towers.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
That was too good.
That is the comment of the night. Whoever it is, you're gonna have to top that one, baby.
That was great.
But I'm personally known for being a very controversial content creator because I study fellow creators. Atreus knows this better than anyone else. That's why I'm sad when he's not on the show. He's like low-hanging fruit. It's a sensitive comedy, shock jock kind of humor, meant to go, and then everyone laughs uncomfortably. Cassie's not here, but she gets really uncomfortable when I do that. But in regards to your show, I've had a look at all sorts of different examples. I have 5 pages worth of notes in regards to the 4 episodes, and I've watched Seagal films. I know a bad film when I see it, and I usually quite enjoy it. But when I looked through the show, just the first 8 minutes of the first episode, as a small example, I found at least 13 examples of what I would call stereotypes. whether it's class-based or race-based stereotypes. You did say that the show was more class-oriented than race-oriented, and that's perfectly fine. The class war is still going strong. Hopefully the race war never comes, for my sake, not for Atreus's. But in all seriousness, I have said this on other shows, and I'm going to say it now. To me, if I wanted to be offensive to the African American or African Canadian community, I would. Yes. If I was like being paid to do it instead of doing it for free, these kinds of stereotypes would be the things that I put in. I know you're not. I know you're the director of the project, co-writer, so you're part of a wider team as well as a bit of studio interference. But I have a few examples here, from criminal activity to dressing up. I've always found dressing up to be more of a minority thing to do, the parades and things. But I have to say that
I warned.
Even women do parades, and they're not even a minority. But in all seriousness, folks, the masks. Now, I did like them originally, especially with the LED thing, the lights on and off. But then I noticed something. They all look like penises and testicles. All of them.
What?
Like penises.
They really do from a certain angle.
What? Y'all are the first to ever listen. I have a kid's mind. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never like the what jokes throughout the series are my thing. Penises, what? Please, someone.
Ryan, they really do. Why do that right on the show?
Say something really profound, and you really came out, and you used it.
No, I do have a really, really 2-second question. 2-second question, and Ryan, take over. Why is it that they sneak around in the dark with LED masks that are very noticeable?
Because it's Hood Power Rangers, my brother. That's what we.
That answer, I'm fine with it. I just that shit. All right, cool.
I know. Okay, look. I'm gonna give it to you. Look, I told you the level of nerd of this is not up here. It's fucking young adult TV nerd. They're wearing color coordinated cloaks with fucking animal masks. Like, if you want to get, how the fuck did they get there? Did they drive? Did they take the train? There's a million reasons. If we start digging into how the fuck they even got to do the heist, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that was a stupid question. I'm just asking.
They do look like dicks.
They do look like dicks. They do. Ryan, go ahead. Keep going, Ryan, because I need Dragon Slayer to go, and then we got to do super chat. So go ahead.
Sure. It's fine. It's just in regards to the costume design for those costumes, they do look a bit like Black Klansmen. If the shoe was on the other foot, for example, and if they were all white, they'd all be wearing, white with different colors on to block the facial recognition. And they all have, hoods, because they do have hoods. They are the hood after all, but they wouldn't wear masks. They just have a color cloth. My Halloween costume. Be a ghost, and then people accuse you of being a Klansman. And then you say, reading too much into that. But in regards to the first few minutes, of the first episode, there were criminal activity, of course, the rap hip-hop, which is perfectly fine for African Americans, resisting arrest, that's another stereotype, criminal damage, for example, destroying a black drone using a black 8-ball via improvised crossbow. I mean, black improvised crossbow. It's kind of a interesting mix. It just seems a bit on the nose. I don't understand why someone in the community would put in stereotypes that someone like me would put into it. Because I was watching the show, and I enjoyed parts of the show, but not in a serious manner, in the manner of a comedy. I can be very immature at times. I'm 24, by the way. I was born on June the 22nd, 1990.
He's not joking, by the way. He's actually
not joking. It's not
Director
Director looks younger than you, Ryan.
He looks like a CW Gimli, but he's a father. How can he be a father and older than you and still look younger? That's just incredible.
No, but in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen a lot of shows from a lot of creators, their videos, and I've never seen a show, not even fucking Captain Marvel, has been slayed like this show has been. I have at least 27 examples from prominent and up-and-coming content creators. Some of these creators, director, hate each other with a passion. You got the usual suspects, Disparu, a British creator with a French name, so big red flag there. The Critical Drinker, who's Scottish and pretends to be an alcoholic. Az, who've lost a lot of weight recently. And, of course, I call them the fine folks over at Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Cannell. A few others who are in the chat. For example, Yellow Flash was in the chat and Drunk Freepio. But also up-and-coming content creators such as Mark with a C. He's an up-and-coming black-based content creator, fine man. Vara Dark, who is a prominent, up-and-coming content creator. She's the redhead lady who's not crazy. There's another redhead lady who is fucking crazy. Ignore her. But there are so many different examples of all ages, races, colors. I'm sure there are a few cripples who have criticized this show. So in terms of criticism, director, it's not anecdotal. It's universal from all types of creators, not just in the United States, but in the United Kingdom, in the Dominion of Canada. And we see these, I've never seen this kind of universal condemnation. Now, I've seen the occasional hate for certain films, the MCU, for example. Star Wars is another example. I mean, Star Wars has gone completely off the rails to the point where Star Wars-based channels can't really grow anymore because the franchise is just, it's burned out. And I don't want up-and-coming projects being like that.
Just to be fair, quick, Ryan, Velma was universally hated as bad as this. Just to be fair. It really was. It Rings of Power too. But go ahead, director, go ahead.
Well, but there you go. Everyone has shown up to hate it. They showed that from the moment they heard about it to when it came out. And I knew I wasn't dealing with serious people, again, on the condom line. Oh, then we got some condoms in the cookie jar. That's culture. I'm like, all right, y'all ain't serious. Again, bro. Again. I don't know who y'all think you're talking to, but I can see reality. I can see when people are forcing it. From the moment this show was released, people read the press release and forced out what they wanted from it. They watched every second of the show. Oh, shaky cam. That's handheld. That's not shaky cam. So, they're committing crime. They're trespassing on a construction site. Don't compare that to like they're fucking just did a stick up, right? So y'all want to play this game like you're giving an honest criticism. When you're laughing at every line, everything. The mother says some fights need to be fought, win or lose. Pause, laugh. There's nothing funny about that. That's a tenet. That's a tenet of fighting the power. Some fights need to be fought, win or lose. That's a standard fucking message. Nope, that's funny too. So I'm not dealing with people giving serious criticism. I'm not dealing with people really getting it. They came in here to hate it, and they think they're picking on kids till they talk to me, and why they're afraid to talk to me. Why won't Desperate talk to me? Why won't none of these men come talk to me? Right? Why won't they have this conversation face to face?
To that question, director, in regards to
yeah, because they're fucking, bro, I'm hold my tongue. But you see what this is? They're acting like kids, like they're making fun of some kid at school, like they're picking on someone at school till I show up, and now they're suddenly not big men. Remember, part of the problem with my show, Geeks and Gamers said the problem with my show is that I'm diluting manhood by making Robin Hood a woman, by tearing down male figures. I said, all right, come talk to me. Suddenly they don't want to talk because I'm a racist. Maybe that's not how manhood works. I'm gonna explain this to you for you all watching that don't understand this shit. You go around town talking shit about someone and their business, and they find you, they want to talk to you, and you need to have that fucking conversation. This is how this fucking works. And if you don't want to have that conversation and you run away, guess what? You don't get to call yourself a fucking man. End this fucking story. So, these guys all hate it. Yeah, you there to hate it, and you talk shit about every fucking line. You're not giving me an honest criticism. And then demand that I must pretend like you're talking sense to me? Nah, Dre. Again, you're not talking to some boy, eh? Go have that conversation with some fucking little boy, but I ain't no little fucking boy, eh?
So I have a question. Why is it that it seems like criticism takes it to a point where I don't know how to explain this. Like I've never seen someone take criticism on a show so personally, and I'm trying to figure as to why. Right. And again, I'm not saying anything to you. I'm trying to understand your mindset. I genuinely want to
because it's not a genuine criticism. Like I said, when Desperado
How do
starts,
you know that if you haven't read
it's
that?
not a genuine criticism. Stop this. Again, you're not talking to...
I really want to
Stop,
know.
because it's not genuine, bro. What are you talking about? These are genuine. They're there to hate it. The mother says, I put condoms in the condom jar. Don't catch nothing. Which is a proper message that these kids need to hear. Condom, bro, that's not that funny. You think I can't? Hold on. You don't understand. I don't understand a fake laugh. You don't understand. You don't think I don't understand someone pushing it too far, and then you all try and talk to me like I must accept the game you're playing. Nah, Dredd, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, and you're not. I'm not gonna play that game with you. I'm not a fucking wire. You understand?
So about the condoms in the cookie jar thing, because I did find that funny, but I have a different, kind of perspective on it than I think most people do. So because you talk about being genuine, I genuinely do have a question for you about that I want to, ask you.
I do
if you're open to an actual question. So, like, cause you say that's a good message about not catching stuff. I actually agree. Something people might not know about your boy Leon. I ran away at 16, broken home. My mother was a single mom who was a prostitute. Damn. So I actually found that line funny, but I found it funny because I think it lacked a certain bit of self-awareness. So coming from, this is a Canadian show, coming from an American perspective, you're the one country that polices things like stereotypes and anything to be construed as, offensive. So I can't speak for anyone else, but I found it funny that it comes off as hypocritical. Just that the view that so many people have of Canada is that your country has laws that'll prohibit the free speech of podcasters, but they're okay with their black female lead being portrayed as a skank. There's a disconnect there that I do think is funny, even though that is a good message, because it's Canadian, not because of, what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's y'all pushing that in there. You all showed up to hate on every line. You all showed up to hate on everything that happens. You're not giving it. We've screened.
I want to add. To be kind of funny that a Canadian.
That ain't, bro. We screened this in a bunch of different audiences. That's not a laugh line. That's a laugh line for y'all because y'all are pushing it.
No, the line is not funny. I agree with you. The line is not funny. What I'm saying is funny is that from my anecdotal experience, I listened to that line, because of the view that Americans have of Canada as being this super, progressive land and whatnot. So to see something so progressive, it's a stereotype in of itself. Like, oh my goodness, of course Canadians will put a line in there. That's funny from an American to a Canadian point of view. Not because the line is funny.
You're reaching. I'm going to tell you straight, bro. That's a reach. That's a reach, eh?
All right, let Ryan finish. Ryan's got to finish these questions. Sorry, Wyatt.
In regards to future plans for your project, Director X, I was wondering if there were any other legendary. Oh, you're back. Did you hear what I said previously?
I heard it, but I feel a setup coming. Go ahead.
No. I don't want to set you up because I'm the least talented person on this panel. I'm just going to say that.
That's not true.
It is.
You're literally wearing a Klan's mask with a beard on it. You are the most talented player.
Because there are possibilities from this project that other ancient myths and legends could be reimagined using are there any ideas you have, Director X? Or is it all just...
I feel like you have a list of suggestions for me, so hit me with it.
I don't have any list of suggestions. I was relying on all the variety of creators who were critical of your work, but because that's my niche.
I'm working on a black Alexander the Great and a black Napoleon and a black Caesar. How's it?
Well, Black Napoleon, if you think about it, recent Napoleon film came out. A great reimagining would be to see Napoleon maybe from an African perspective, because France and North Africa stop
this. No, this, like I said, bro, you saw. You saw what we did. Again, you see how I feel about these things as well.
Mm-hmm. And you're very passionate about this project.
I'm passionate about everything, dog. But like I said, man, look, I'm not going to... There's a part of this narrative where you guys... In order for you guys to have your fun, you need me to play along with you, and I'm not doing that. And sometimes I need to remind y'all that I'm not a fucking kid, and I'm not going to do this shit with y'all. Again, it's not me that said the problem with my Robin Hood show was I was tearing down. You want to talk... It's other people that brought this manhood talk to me. All right, then let's have a manhood talk. Let's have a manhood talk. Let's talk as men and deal with some of this passion, bro. This is not me. This is not me. This is what the culture brought to me and said, this is the problem with my shit. All right, then let's have it. I mean, if you can't handle it, then what? I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to pretend that this is not a fucking clear review bomb. I'm not going to pretend that y'all aren't in here fucking doing too much and fucking trying to draw out everything as a joke thing and say, well, look, everyone hates it, so I guess it's the reason for it. I don't give a fuck if everyone hates it. If y'all showed up to bro, like again, bro, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If this how y'all want to, if you're how y'all want to get down, then have this conversation with me. We're all here having this talk.
I don't give a fuck, and no one's gonna believe that you actually don't give a fuck. If you're
Oh no, I give a fuck about my show, but I don't give a fuck about playing this narrative with y'all. Right? Where I'm supposed to pretend like y'all somehow this is some honest thing. I'm calling it how it is.
At this point, we argue.
I just like to say to the director, what would you consider to be a success for your show? Say the projections, the results come in. Say 100,000 people watch the each episode.
Okay, so let's tone down because outside of the passion and the fucking, you know what I'm saying, these arguments, it's me against the world when it comes to this show. All right, cool. And I wanted to find its audience. We live in I was at the comic book shop and I tell the 20-year-old kid behind the desk, Robin Hood, my show Robin Hood, have you seen it? Have you heard of it? He goes, I haven't heard. Where can I see it? Oh, it's on Global. What's Global? That's like someone saying, what's CBS? That's like someone saying, what's BBC 3? Like, we live in a whole new world now. These young kids don't even know the name of Global. Global television out here is a major network. It was growing up for me. So and part of what brings me back to what we were saying before, that I do see this YouTube community as a place where people can get their word out, where they can reach an audience and they can have a conversation and we can have this shit. I'm down to yell and scream, and I'm clearly, you know what I'm saying? And you can yell and scream back at me. I'm fine to get into an argument. This is fine. We're talking about a fucking low budget Canadian young adult show. You know what I'm saying? We can yell and scream like we're talking about sports. I'm fine with all that shit. But how do you find an audience in today's day and age? How do you fucking let people know this shit fucking exists? This is real shit that everyone across the board is looking for. Everything's catching a brick. Everything's having a really hard time getting out to the world, letting know that things exist. This is tough. And I see you guys as part of how you get this word out. So yeah, man, I mean, I don't know how y'all feel after this, but I see the potential.
How well let me just put this another way. How well do you think in terms of viewership, say the first episode of Robin Hood could well have done if it was on YouTube? Like 1 million views, like 5 million views? I don't know. It's just if the show was, say, on social media, YouTube is a great example, instead of on mainstream media, do you think it would have a wider audience? Or
I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if we got to, y'all tell me, I'm trying to reach teenagers. Where do you find them? They're not on TV.
That's gonna be a hard, competing with TikTok is a hard, that's hard.
Especially because it's 45 minutes long, most young people.
The reality is, the best place for anything to be is Netflix. Netflix is the blockbuster of the day. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest mistake a lot of these corporations made was going and making their own social media, or not social media, rather their own streaming sites. You know what I mean? So that was Disney Plus, Amazon, MGM has one. Look, remember, Friends was a big hit on Netflix. Then they took it and put it on whatever, and it's out of the conversation. The Office was a big hit on Netflix. They took it and put it on their thing. It's not in the conversation anymore. Netflix is really where people see things. Netflix is that one platform where everybody is. And once you're not on that...
I'd just like to say, Director, thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to hand you over to Dragon Slayer commentaries.
Is he still awake?
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm still here. I've just been quiet listening. I know, super rare, but...
It's rare. Super rare.
I know. Normally I kind of get into it, but, I did want to give everyone their chance to ask their questions. Look, so about the show specifically, you mentioned that some people may not have been able to watch the show or they never even watched the show. Now, I did, of course, and one thing I do want to point out is that as overall, from what I've seen so far, I know we're only halfway through the season. This show for me so far, it's a 3.5 out of 10. It's not, I'm sure if, the other episodes come out and it does improve, great. And if it doesn't, no problem. I'm not really the type to go real hard on the hate unless it's absolutely warranted. Now, me watching the show, I did notice something that people haven't pointed out yet. And I do want to start at least with a positive. And that is that, for example, I believe there's this character he introduced in the third episode. That was one thing people were talking about a lot, the Lionheart character. Okay? Now, I did like the fact that with the lion character, it did help better understand the character of Little John a little bit more. As to, I can see what you were trying to get at with the whole concept of that internal struggle of not becoming becoming part of the environment that raised you. Okay, I do understand where that is coming from. But at the same time, I do have to point out that, I see like the tone of the show, it seems to be going from like 1 to 3 in a direction where it's all kind of like teenage goofiness, fun, trying to, combat the power, as you said. But then out of nowhere, the show just gets super dark in episode 4 with the pharmaceutical company and this whole Montauk experiment segment where all of a sudden the Prince John, or John Prince, I always mix them up, but he all of a sudden has the power to completely shut down Sherwood, yet at the same time, they're able to easily sneak in and outwit everyone. And, in terms of the hate the show is getting, that's what it's called lately. With the reviews, look, when it comes to some reviewers, most of them, they kind of go towards the negativity train, not because they want to. It's just that in a platform like YouTube, that's the thing that gets the most attention. That's what people are going to gravitate mostly towards. Now, what the majority of these creators do is they do give better criticism, or they give detailed criticism of certain shows. Now, there are some that take it too far. I'll be honest. Okay. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some that do take it too far. And we end up getting these cases where we now have this current day world where there are two extreme polarities. We have those who absolutely want to hate anything that's different and want to stick to the past, and those who want to constantly advance, but unfortunately, they don't want to understand that unending advancement does not always equal good results. It can actually lead to bad consequences. And so, with the review bombing, for example, look, I cannot speak for everyone that did negative review, but I did read some of them that, they were 1 out of 10, some were 3 out of 10s that did give valid, constructive criticism on the show. And, I understand, for people in your space that, coming into YouTube and seeing all these negative thumbnails and people just talking shit all the time, it can get overwhelming. But at the end of the day, we have someone from either side has to step in and say, okay, look, maybe you guys are right about some things and, 95% of it is bullshit, but we need to come in and talk about it, okay? Even if it's a train wreck or even if it's not a train wreck of a show, that it's up to each individual to determine that, okay? But what I've been wanting to do with this, and this is what we've been trying to do, is we just want to come to a dialogue to figure out, what both sides can learn from each other so we can build this bridge. Because let me be honest with you, X, if we don't do that, we're going to be stuck in this fucking vicious cycle for God knows how long. And at the end of the day, we're just fucking hurting each other. And at the end, what's going to happen? The big corporations are just going to put their foot down furthermore in your direction. And on our end, we're just going to think that everyone on that side fucking hates their fan base or the people that watch their shows, and nothing will get solved. And we'll just be little puppets in the whole scheme of getting people to fight each other and not focus on the fact that we need to have our freedom to express certain things. Now, in terms of the show itself, I do have some, minor gripes with it, but I would have to say that, the whole hood concept, like the whole, this is like a little gang of married people from the hood. It does sound interesting, but one character that stuck out to me as being kind of, how do I say this? A little bit too out there. Like, it doesn't seem like he belongs in this thing. Would have to be the Friar Tuck character. One thing I noticed is that I get that he's supposed to be like the super nerd and everything, but the way he talks and presents himself and acts out his parts, it seems like he would belong more in like a, I don't know, John Wick or sci-fi film, rather than a young adult show. So that's one minor gripe I have about it. I do want to go into more detail, but because of the time, I can't. So that's what I have for now.
Well, I'll tell you quite honest. Like I said, this is a low-budget Canadian young adult show. Mm-hmm. And there are episodes that really suffer from that low-budget aspect of it,
Which one would you say suffered the most?
Episode 4 took the biggest weight because it's, if we had the money, it would have been Heist of the Week, right? Like, that's what you'd want from a Robin Hood show. Like, Heist of the Week, little thing. But you can feel the weight on that. This isn't easy stuff, right? You build your sets. Every time you leave the studio, that costs money. This isn't, it's not like making a movie. A TV show has X amount of days in studio, X amount of days on location. This is just how that works. Then what that location is, how far can you drift from your there's all kinds of logistics that go into it. So when you're making TV, a lot of what you're doing has to revolve around the sets. Okay, we have to have a conversation in the bedroom. We're gonna have it's just how this works. So there are definitely episodes where the constraints of the budget, you feel it.
Okay.
It is what it is, but the job is to work around those things and try and make those things work. That's it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Again, it is what it is. Again, this show is now getting a bunch of attention from people who, like, be quite honest. Would you have turned this shit, like, was this something that would have caught your eye had it not been for all the controversy?
No,
10 years
unfortunately,
ago, yes.
10 years ago, maybe, but
10 years ago, yes, but not now.
Yeah, but not now.
No disrespect, Slayer, but this is exactly why I was pushing back on that argument that Hypno and Film Rebel was saying earlier. You cannot say, I gave your show a 3.5 out of 10 and then turn around and say, I got minor gripes about it. Now, maybe you were just speaking it wrong, but saying I got minor gripes to me is more like 7.5, 6.5. And I'm not saying that you are, review bombing, but a lot of people operate like that. Okay, you're gonna go and give it a 1-star review. Okay, what'd you see wrong with it?
Yeah.
Well, shaky cam. Okay.
Oh, the shaky cam thing. I mean, I can point out the fact that with the shaky cam thing,
but that's not the point. I was just pointing it out. You said that minor gripes, 3.5 to me personally.
Well, that's just me as the individual you guys know me to be. Like, when I say minor gripes,
he
really
was trying to be nice.
Fair enough.
Well, but like I said, the majority of people we got reviews from all around the world. This is a Canadian show. Of course you can find it online, but no one would even know about it if it wasn't for the content. The majority of people commenting and voting and all this stuff are people who came to not like it. They're leaning in the direction of, I've had enough of this shit. At minimum, people who came to look, I've had enough of this shit. Right? And then,
to be honest, I don't know. When it came to like the show and like me finding out about it, the controversy is what kind of even let me know it existed, because as I found out much later on, this is like just a show on Canadian TV, so it would be the type that people outside Canada wouldn't even know it exists. But
it get picked up by some network and played somewhere, but it's a piece of content that someone uses to fill time.
Okay. Yeah, and also one thing about that you mentioned, that somebody mentions like a show's going to do this kind of change, and some YouTuber out there says, "Oh, it's going to be trash automatically," and then the show comes out, and they get that confirmation bias saying it's trash. At least for me specifically, I'm going to mention this is specifically for me as the individual. Rings of Power, like many people, there we go. I'm going to get into it a little bit. Rings of Power as a show, okay, for the first, and just to get some frame reference, I am a super Tolkien fan. Read the books, know everything super deep about the lore. And when it was first announced that Amazon was going to make a TV show based off Second Age of Middle-earth, I was all in for it. Everybody was. The one person, but, okay, what ended up happening is news started coming about that Amazon was not letting anything go by. And then Christopher Tolkien dies, and all of a sudden, all these news start to come out about Amazon doing these incredibly drastic changes to how the characters work, adding in unnecessary characters who basically just represent certain racial stereotypes that do not even belong in that specific fantasy universe. And at first, I, like many fans, were saying, no, y'all are just talking out of your ass. That's actually not real. But then when the footage started to come out and then the actors that they hired to play those roles, all that they kept saying in the interviews that was rolling off their mouths, like as if it was free money, was just, oh, it's about representation and my race here and the first black dwarf and yada, yada, yada. They just kept talking about the same bullcrap that no Tolkien nerd wanted to hear. We weren't there. We don't want a TV show based off of Middle-earth in that time period because of that. We wanted a quality show that simply was trying to stay as faithful as possible to the lore. Okay, most people know that they can't do that, even if they had a massive budget, which, by the way, they had over $1 billion in total for that first season alone. Okay? And they still fucked up. You know why? Because every time people were telling them, hey, this sucks really bad, here's why. Like, people like me, too, legitimately were saying, hey, this is why it sucked. They would call everyone there, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a homophobe, yada, yada. Think of whatever slur you want. And then at a certain point over the years, more shows similar to that started to come out where the studios and the directors and the producers involved were constantly berating everyone and throwing the same derogatory terms at the fan bases and even the normies that had nothing to do with the nerd space that were complaining at the same time. They would call them the same terms. And at a certain point, it did create this, you could say, nebulous cloud of just pure hate and disdain for everything that has to do with the sector that you're in. And then, I honestly don't know how,